So we'll start with the new chapter, that is sewer appurtenances. Okay, in the previous chapter you studied about the different drainage systems or plumbing systems in the house. Now in the sewer appurtenances, what are they actually? They are the different types of the devices which are connected across the pipes which carry the sewers so as to maintain the proper flow of the sewage in the pipes. Okay, so these different appurtenances are called as sewer, or the devices are called as sewer appurtenances. Okay, see in this house I have just taken a small diagram. You can see like a pipe is coming here, roof drain connection is here, connected foundation drain is here, and the water is coming here. Okay, you can just see like the roots are entering in the pipe sometimes, which leads to damaging of the pipe. A manhole is here, you can see a manhole is here. So the different connections are, and this is your storm collector. So here you can see, I will just show again. Okay, this is the surface of the road. Okay, and here a mesh kind of will be there from where the rainwater enters, and this is the pipe which will take that storm water. Okay, so as to have the proper drainage system and to prevent the degradation of the pavement, the storm sewers are provided. So all these devices, see along with the pipes, you are able to see the different types of the devices which are placed in between for the proper flow of the sewage without any choking. This is called as sewer appurtenances. Okay, so I will define again clearly. Okay, they are the structures which are constructed at suitable intervals along the sewerage system to help the efficient operation and maintenance. Okay, so you can see at suitable intervals, in the sense like manholes are provided where there is change in the gradient, or when there is the change in the direction, or if a bigger pipe meets a smaller diameter pipe. So there and all manholes are placed. And what is the sewerage system? It is the pipe system. Whatever the pipes are there which are laid right from your house to the sewage treatment plant. So this entire system is called as sewerage system. And what is the main function of these appurtenances? They help for efficient operation and maintenance. See, what is the meaning of operation now here? Okay, your main function is flow of the sewage. That is called as operation. But what is the maintenance? If there is any choking and all, the person can enter, or they can place some devices like flushing of the water or something like that, or any rods to remove the chokes and all. So for all these different operations, we use different sewer appurtenances. Okay. Now, what are these different sewer appurtenances? Let's see. The first one is street inlets called gullies. Okay. So gullies, whatever here you have seen. Okay. This one. So this is called as gully. We will be studying detail later on. Just remember the names now. Catch basin, cleanouts, manholes, drop manholes, lamp manholes, flushing tanks, grease and oil traps, inverted siphon, and storm regulator. So these all the 10 different devices makes your sewer appurtenances. Okay, so let's study now one by one what they are and what are the individual functions of them. So the first one is inlets or storm water inlets. So what is the meaning of this? Storm water inlets. Storm means your rain. Okay, inlet. Why we use the word inlet? Because the water is entering here from the surface. That is called as sewer inlet or the storm water inlet. So now they are provided to admit the surface runoff to the sewers. Yes. So from the surface of the pavement, the water enters into the sewers or the pipelines through these inlets. Okay, next one. They are classified as three major types based on where they are placed. Remember, based on where and how the meshes are placed. First one is curb inlet. So you can see here, this one is your curb inlet, because this is the curb. What is the curb? It is the part where which separates the pavement and the footpath or the shoulder, that is called as curb. So now the inlet is placed here. This is called as curb inlet. Second one is gutter inlet. This is second one, gutter inlet. So gutters are here running parallelly, and they are placed opening to the top surface. That is called as gutter inlet. You can just see here gutter inlet. These are the horizontal openings in the gutter which is covered by one or more gratings through which the storm water is admitted. Okay, so what is this now? More gratings. These are called as your gratings or the meshes to prevent the entry of the sticks, leaves, plastics, bottles, all those things. Okay, this is called as gutter inlet. Now the third one is called as combined inlet. Why it is called combined inlet? See, you can see by the explanation. Now here it is curb. So you can see here curb inlet, and here it is gutter inlet. So here it is gutter inlet. It is the combination of both of them. So tell me which are the three different types. One is curb inlet, second one is gutter inlet, third one is combined inlet. Okay, now you can see some dimensions. Try remembering them. Clear opening should be less than 25 mm. Okay, whatever the meshes dimensions are there, they should be less than 25 mm. Next is the connecting pipe from the street inlet to the sewer should be minimum of 200 mm diameter. See, this pipe we are talking about now. From the first diagram I will show you. This pipe, this diameter should be around 20 mm. Okay. Now next one is the maximum spacing of 30 meter is recommended between the inlets. So between what should be the dimension? That is the spacing. Now here you are placing one inlet. Okay. So here you are placing another inlet. The next inlet should be placed at a distance of 30 meter for the efficient flow. Okay, or for the maintenance. Next one is, so when you see the top view, the curve of inlet or the cross section, if you see, the curve inlet will look something like this. Okay, see here it is footpath, curve, from here the water is entering. Okay, it will flow here and it will go to the drain. Then what is this? The second one is gutter inlet. So from the surface the water is entering and it is going to the drain. So required slope is provided here so as to prevent the stagnation of any waste in the tank. Okay, so this is all about your first one, that is inlets or storm water. Here we are interested to take off the rainwater as early as possible from the surface of the road. Remember that. Okay, now next is catch basin. So as the name indicates, catch basin. Okay, here you can see the cross sectional view. So here grating is there, the water flows here. Okay, and see if the spacing between the gratings is more, you can see here. Okay, sometimes you might have seen these kind of gratings, right? So that time what happens, even like discharge will also be more, and there will be some debris here which you can see, floatables like bottles or whatever. So if that is allowed directly into the pipe, that leads to choking. That's why what they do is the depth of these catch basins is little more, so that whatever the debris are there, they get settled here at the bottom. Okay, and only the water what is collected here, it will flow here. Okay, that's why we call it as catch basin, because it catches whatever the floatables are there to the bottom. And here these catch basins are cleaned properly. Okay, now I'll read what is written here. The catch basins are provided to stop the entry of the heavy debris present in the storm water into the sewer. However, their use is discouraged because of nuisance due to mosquito breeding apart from posing operational maintenance. See what happens? See, breeding, okay, as well as operational maintenance problems. See how does this happen? See, now as the debris get settled here, so it's very difficult to remove these debris very frequently. So a lot of organic compounds will also be present here. Because of stagnation of water, mosquitoes start breeding there. As well as what happens, maintenance will be difficult, because as the settlement is more here, the substantial maintenance problems happens here. Okay, at the bottom of the basin, space is provided for accumulation of impurities. So you can see here black color debris, certain extra space. Perforated cover is provided at the top of the basin to admit the rainwater. Okay, understood? So now what are these catch basins actually? So these catch basins are the one which allows the rainwater into that, as well as from the other sewer also the waste comes here, that is inlet outlet pipe, and here the debris will settle and the top surface will flow there, so as to reduce the maintenance. But here what happens, as the settling is more, even it causes the maintenance problem. Okay, so this is our second sewer appurtenance, that is your catch basin or catch pit. Remember another name. The third one, very simple. See, the explanation is very simple. I feel I am explaining little more. They are all self-explanatory. Now the screen is visible for you, right? So just take the screenshot or pause, read everything. I have written like complete notes kind of, so that if you write this much, this is more than enough, and it is self-explanatory. Now, what are these cleanouts? See, what happens, there will be certain choking of the waste in the pipe. Okay, now this is the flow, this is the drain pipe. So if there is any choking here, so what are these cleanouts? This is your cleanout now. Okay, so heavy gush of water is allowed into these cleanouts, so that this causes certain force to remove the debris. That's why we call it as clean out, because it cleans whatever the debris is present in the pipes. Okay, now the top surface, you can see it is something like this. It is very small diameter actually compared to that of the sewer, and which is used rarely, and it is projected little surface of the earth, so that it is visible or identifiable very much easily. Okay, so this is about the clean out. Next one, manhole, you have studied already. What is this manhole? These are the certain devices which are placed along the pipe system for the maintenance system. Okay, maintenance of the sewers. But why we call it as manhole? The man can easily enter into these holes. That's why we call it as manholes. So whenever there is any choking on all happens, the person enters here and he will check and he'll clean. Okay, so what is this manhole actually? It is a masonry or RCC chamber constructed at suitable intervals along the sewer lines for providing access into them. Okay, and it also helps in inspection, cleaning and maintenance of sewer. The spacing of a manhole is recommended in IS 1740-1960. So remember this codes, whatever the spacings and all should be. See, this spacing depends on the diameter of the pipe or the diameter of the manhole, the type of the manhole, the type of the sewer entering into that. Based on that, the spacings are provided. Okay, so that spacing recommendation is given in this code. The minimum width of the manhole should not be less than the internal diameter of the sewer pipe plus 150 mm benching on both the sides. So what is the benching actually? It is the inclination provided here. Okay, so I'll show you from this diagram. Now this is your benching. Okay, so what should be the benching now as told by the code? Okay, so the benching should be both the sides, and what should be the diameter of the pipe? It should be 150 plus the diameter of the sewers. Okay, some spacing values are given here. If it is a small sewer, 45 meters should be the spacing. If the diameter of the pipe is 0.9 meter to 1.5 meter, it should be 90 to 150 meter. If the pipe is 1.5 to 2 meter, it should be 150 to 200 meter. And if it is greater than 2 meter, the spacing should be 300 meters. So try remembering the values, and also the internal dimensions are given. Okay. Now, so there are certain classifications of the manholes based on how deep these manholes are. Okay, so we are classifying based on the depth of the manholes now. So we call it a shallow manhole, normal manhole, deep manhole. So what is this shallow manhole? Where the depth is less, shallow word. Normal means casual or which is frequently followed depth. Deep means if the sewage is more or something like that, or if there is industrial waste, the dimension of the manhole should be more. So that time we go with the deep manhole. Okay, so now let's study about the shallow manhole. Okay, try remembering these values. The depth should be around 0.7 meter to 0.9 meter. diameter should be around 0.3 meter, and it is constructed at the start of the branch sewer or at the place not subjected to heavy traffic conditions. So remember this condition, we have studied about the different types: main sewer, branch sewer, lateral sewer. So where these shallow manholes are constructed at the start of branch sewer and where there is no heavy traffic. Remember these two words. Okay, these are provided with light cover at top and is also called as inspection chamber. The shallow manholes are also called as inspection chambers, so that the person can enter and he can inspect the manholes. Next, the depth of the normal manhole is around 1.5 meter. Dimension is 1 into 1 meter for a square, and if it is a rectangle, 1.2 into 0.9, and they are provided with heavy cover at its top to support the anticipated traffic load, which is usually used, which you can see on the roadways. Okay. Now, deep manhole. So, deep manhole, the depth is 1.5 meter. The section of such manhole is not uniform throughout. What is the meaning of this? Section, see here the cross section. Okay, so here the cross section is this much, here it is this much, here is like this. So it is varying. The section is not uniform. Why we have to go for this? You can see the size of the upper portion is reduced by providing an offset. See why we do this? Here the depth is more, actually it is more than 2 meter, and if you project the manhole something like this completely straight, okay, so what happens? The diameter of the manhole required is more here. So as it is more, the strength will also be less, because if the traffic flow moves all above the surface, then that can be like formation of the cracks on the cover. So that is the reason, as we go to the surface here, okay, so you can see here, as we go to the surface we are tapering, because actually this surface, this portion is not used for storing of any sieve and all. Just a person can enter here and he will be working at this point. Okay, whatever the cleaning and all should be done, he will be doing here. So that's why we reduce the cross section as we go to the surface, as well as to keep the manhole uneconomical little bit. Okay, and sometimes steps are also provided here for the movement of the, or for the ascending and descending of the person. Okay, and the top view something looks like this circle. Now, what are these? Drop manholes. Okay, see there is no difference here. You can just see the diagram. The manhole is the same. Okay, can you see? Benching is there, main sewer is there, manhole cover is there, steps are there, everything is there. But why it is called as drop manhole? The reason is, here, from here the sewer waste is coming. Okay, now what happens here? If there is any, if it is like the distance is more, okay, and if they want to connect something like this, the gradient is too high and lot of earthquake excavation has to be done. So as to keep the work economical, they will keep the pipe here till here straight, and suddenly they will provide a drop. So that's why we call it as drop manhole, and here the waste enters and here it is entering. Okay, that's why we call the name as drop manhole. Okay, if we take it inclined from the far of the distance, then earthwork or the construction cost increases. So we keep it straight, and very near to manhole we provide a drop. That's why we call it as drop manhole. Next one is lamp hole. Okay, just the small one, very small, you can see here. What is this manhole? It is an opening or hole constructed in a sewer for purpose of lowering a lamp inside it. Okay, and it consists of a stoneware or concrete pipe, usually of T-junction. You can see here it forms a T-junction. The electric pipe is the electric lamp is inserted in the lamp hole, and the light of the lamp is observed from the manholes. Okay, so now why we use this lamp? There are three different advantages. The first advantage is they will insert the lamp and they will see, okay, whether there is choking or something like that. Now what they will do is, here they will insert the lamp at this point, and as it continues, and one more hole will be there, and they will see from the top whether this light is visible here or not at this point. Okay, so if the light is visible here, then there is no choking. If the light is not visible, then there is choking along the way here. Okay, so this is the second advantage. Third advantage is when the person enters into the pipe or something like that, okay, he need to have enough oxygen, because here continuous decomposition will be happening. Okay, the quantity of the oxygen will be less, which leads to suffocation of the person who is maintaining here. So when he inserts the lamp in that, if the lamp is on, that is if it gets lit off, then he will come to know that there is no enough oxygen. So this is also one way of the check. Okay, that is called as lamp manhole, where the diameter is very small. Next is your flushing tanks. So what are these flushing tanks actually? Okay, see, now the waste along the pipe will be moving, but if there is free choking of the waste or something like that, automatically whatever the flushing tank is there, it works same as the principle of how the flushing systems works in your western toilets. Okay, so here like automated system. So here what happens, when the choking happens, the water will rise here to the certain level, so which they will come to know, or automatically it will come to know that okay, the water has risen to certain level, because there is no flow of water in the further in the pipe. So because of which a ball bearing system will be there, which opens, and excess water whatever is stored in this tank will be allowed to flow. When it is allowed to flow, whatever the sewage or choking is there, that will be removed off easily. So this is the main function of the flushing tank. Now this is your flushing tank, and where the water is always kept in this tank. Okay, so this is called flushing tank. A very small explanation is given. Whatever I have explained here, the same explanation is written here. Okay, and we go for this flushing tank where the self-cleansing velocity is difficult to be provided. So you have studied about self-cleansing velocity, which we use only in the sewage drains, not in the pipes, or sorry, not in the water supply pipes. Okay, so wherever the self-cleansing is not provided, we are not able to provide, it can be because of the slope or something like that. That time in certain sections they provide the flushing tanks. So they can be even manual as well as automatic. Okay. The next one is called as inverted siphon. So when we go for inverted, see, you have seen the siphon is something like A shape or inverted U shape. Okay, but now inverted siphon is, it is in the, this is siphon. Okay, so siphon is something like this, but here inverted siphon is like this. Okay, now when we are providing this inverted siphon, now here there is a manhole, another manhole is provided, and here there is some river flowing across the roadway or something like that. So that time, so as to cross this here, beneath that we provide inverted siphon, or you can say depressed sewer. That's why we use the word as depressed sewer. Okay, so the sewage is flowing here, you can see in this direction which is mentioned. Just a minute. Okay, so here it is moving here. So manhole is provided for the checks, but here what care we have to take is, as it is little straight, here it is inclined, here it is inclined, like that. As it is straight portion here, providing self cleansing is very difficult because it is little horizontal. So sometimes extra pump might be used for this to pump the sewage. Okay, so this is called as inverted siphon. So remember, once the question was asked where the inverted siphons are used, if there is any disturbance in the gradient where the sewer moves, okay, at that time we go for inverted siphons. So next one is storm regulators. They are also called as overflow devices. See, why we call them as overflow devices? See, when the certain waste is flowing in the pipe, and if the rain occurs, so the same water get mixed in the pipe. So because of which the discharge increases, and these overflow devices, and the overflow will happen only during the storms, not all through the year. So what are these devices actually, or we also call as storm regulators, because they regulate the flow of the waste or the storm water in the sewers. So how exactly that happens here? Okay, so I will just give you, before explaining like the different types, I'll just show you one of them so that it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, now you just see this one. Okay, here, so from here the waste comes regularly, okay, and it flows down here, and from here down it will go to the pipe. So above diagram also you can see here whatever I have drawn. Okay, this is second one is practical pic, first one is in your book. So here the water flows and it keeps flowing always. So now from here it is taken to the our regular further pipe systems to the sewage treatment plant. But what happens during the rainfall is, as the quantity of the rain will increase here, okay, so that time it will fill completely. So when this fills, the overflow whatever it is there, it flows in this direction. So the same way to explain you from the second pic is, now it is flowing down. So when this entire tank, okay, this one whatever is there in here, if it gets filled, and then from here the water will start flowing. You can watch YouTube video, I think they are available, so that it will be clear. Okay, understood what this? Now what is written here? Storm and sanitary flow. So they will be flowing together. Obviously sanitary flow will be less, and which is all the time here, and it keeps moving, and from here the waste is taken out. But when storm water gets added to that, so obviously it will be above because it is lighter, and that excess will flow here. So what is written here? You can see storm water. So storm flow to outfall flow. So it will go to the outfall flow straight away, which is next connected to the sewer treatment. Understood? What is this? Storm regulator. So now there are different classification of the storm regulators based on how they are placed. So first one is overflow or side flow weir. Okay, see now just see this diagram. So from here the storm and the rainwater enters. Okay, so regular sanitary flow will be flowing in this direction always, all through the year. Now what happens if the rain occurs? So that excess water will flow here to the joint, jump, and then it will go here. So that's why this is to the outflow, the excess. So remember, all the time there will not be water in this pipe, only when the rain occurs. So same way here you can see the side view section, you can see. So it keeps flowing in this direction, but when there is excess, it flows in this direction. So it is one side. So now this can be provided in two sides. Okay, if there is heavy rainfall, that's why we call it as double overflow weir and single overflow weir. Okay, so the notes are written here, clearly write them. The second type, whatever I have explained, it is called as leaping or jumping weir. Okay, so in question they can give you the diagram and they can try to identify, okay, which type of weir it is. Next one is siphon spillage. So what is this siphon spillage? Okay, so again this works as that of your siphon action only. So here it keeps collecting here, and when it crosses the certain height, automatically the knob will get open, and excess whatever it is there, it flows to the overflow, only the excess. Okay, that is called as siphon spillage because it works on the siphon action. Okay, so I think that's all for this topic. This is not for GATE, I am telling you, this is important for government exams. Okay, remember, first one is street inlets or gullies. They allow the entry of the storm water into the drains. So there are three types. First one is the curb type, the second one is your gutter type, third one is your combined type. The second type is called as catch basin. So they provides or they catches the waste like bottles or something like that in the tank. But the disadvantage is that it leads to the mosquito breeding site, as well as maintenance is little difficult. Cleanouts are used to provide the heavy gush of the water, and which is usually kept inclined at an angle of 45 degree, and the diameter of that is also little less. Manholes are provided for the entry of the person. Here there are three types depending on the depth. They are shallow manhole, normal manhole, deep manhole. Okay, drop manholes are the provided if the inclination of the pipe connecting the manhole is more, that is if there is gradient is too much that time, so as to prevent the excavation cost and all, we go for the drop very near to the manhole, that is called as drop manhole. Lamp manholes are used for maintenance purposes along the pipelines. Flushing tanks are used if there is any choking and all, the water gets the tank, water is stored in the flushing tank all the time, so automatically it can be flushed, or there can be manual flushing tanks. Grease and oil traps I didn't explain you in this chapter because it is already covered in the previous one, and we use only for the industrial waste, not regularly. Okay, inverted siphons we use when there is any disturbance for the flow in the pipeline. Okay, so two inclines and one horizontal will be there. So as that is horizontal, it's a little difficult to maintain the self-cleansing velocity. Okay, that's the reason sometimes the pump can be used here. Storm regulators, so they regulate the excess, whatever the sanitary waste will be flowing all the time, a proper connection is provided. But wherever in the region, if we feel that the rainfall is quite high, the storm regulators are provided, because excess rainfall water can be easily flown through those regulators, so as to prevent the excess load on the treatment or overflowing of the gutters. Okay, so this is all about the chapter sewer appurtenances.